Ciao, benvenuti. I'm Marisa, and this is All Our Way, and here we like to make delicious dishes out of simple ingredients so that friends and family will be eager to join around the table and have some good conversation and good food. Today is a really simple recipe. I call it my mama's miracle soup because it seemed like if we got sniffles or whatever happened, right away she'd start in the soup. I don't ever remember a Sunday where she didn't have a big pot of chicken broth going. She would have the humongous stock and we would eat off of it. But the minute we got sniffles, she made stracciatella. And that is an egg drop soup, and it's really famous around the Rome area. It is simple and it's satisfying, so if you ever come home and you're hungry and you say there's absolutely nothing to eat, this is the perfect recipe for you. It's all a matter of 6 cups of chicken broth, or you can use beef broth or even vegetable if you're so inclined. And for every 2 cups of soup, you want an egg. So we have 3 eggs here, and it takes a little bit of semolina flour, and we'll add a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano and a little bit of pecorino, and that will be 1/2 ounce each, and 1/2 ounce is about 2 tablespoons plus a teaspoon. So we're going to throw this together right here. I've already got the 6 cups of broth coming to a simmer. You don't want it to boil. And what stracciatella means is like little rags, little pieces. When you put that in and you start mixing it up, it gets all raggedy. And at first the broth looks really cloudy, but then it'll all clear up. Very, very satisfying. And so right now, as this is coming to a simmer, I'm going to go ahead and put my eggs in a bowl. So it's 3 eggs for the 6 cups. And as I said, I think every person has some kind of a chicken soup that their mother made that no matter what, it always made you feel a little bit better just to have them have that soup. But I think it's the warmth, you know, you're feeling kind of miserable, and right now, to tell you the truth, that there's people that are still having some kind of a flu problem, and I'm not saying that this is going to cure the flu, but I'm sure it would help a lot. So along with this, what we're going to do is add the 2 tablespoons of semolina flour. Now this semolina flour I got from the store, and I think Bob's Red Mill is the one that I got. And along with this, what we're going to do is we're going to put in, and I've got the pecorino and the Parmesan cheese here. I'm going to put that in there. And we're going to put in, if you have any questions, please go ahead and I'll try to answer them. Then we have 2 tablespoons of parsley here. So I'm just kind of measuring it, and what's left over I'm going to use as a garnish. Now, here's a little bit. You want to taste your broth and to make sure it's salty enough and as peppery enough. I tasted it earlier, and I think it needed just a little bit of salt. We don't have our grinder here, so I have to kind of use this a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it a little bit. I'm not going to add any more salt because the cheese is pretty salty. And since the cheese is salty, we're going to taste it at the very end to make sure that it's not overly salted. And now, here's a little bit of trick. All right. Along with this, we add just a tad of cayenne pepper. And one of the little secrets is just a pinch of nutmeg. I know, you try to think, nutmegs? Really? Yes. Just a little pinch is all that's needed. So there you go. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to whisk it until it's all combined. Now it's starting to simmer. You don't want it to boil because as you're letting it kind of run down, you're going to be stirring it, and it's going to be turning into little pieces. And stracciatella means little rags, and it's going to look like it's all torn up. So did your mothers or nonas ever have a special egg drop soup at all? My mom, my dad, now we know that ulcers are not caused by food or whatever. They're more of a virus, but he had really bad bleeding ulcers. And when my mom would, something mild for him to eat would be something like this. All right, the soup, the broth, is now just starting to simmer. I'm just gonna let it kind of keep going a little bit. Kind of a rolling simmer, not hard, just a little bit. Because as I stirred it, it stopped. So Rome, this is famous in Rome, as I said, and if you would ever come home and you've had either you're starving and there's nothing to eat, or you've had a big lunch, this is really nice. It's very, very mild. With a salad, it'd be perfect, and some crusty bread, that would be ideal. Okay, it is simmering nicely, and right now, one more time, make sure this is mixed up really good. Okay, I'm going to start pouring it in, and as I'm pouring it in, I'm going to be stirring quickly. And you can just see the way it's all kind of breaking up. Boy, it smells really good too. Let me see if I can clean that out a little bit. I don't like to waste anything. My mom and dad are up there in heaven watching me, and if I'd waste, I'm sure a thunderbolt or something would come down and whack me. Okay. Continue to, and I can see it right now. It's starting to, the broth is starting to clear up again. When I first put that in, it was kind of cloudy, but now it's really looking good. Now, my mom would make soup called gnocchi in brodo, and I'm going to have to make that for you. My son keeps, well, I do have that on the blog. It's, the gnocchi are not potatoes. In fact, the gnocchi are made with semolina, and the type of semolina that my mama used was the whole cream of wheat, and along with that, the creamy wheat, she would put the Parmesan cheese and an egg, and she would separate the egg and do the egg whites and the egg yolks. And it is just little dumplings. Oh, they are so, so good. Okay, this is just about done. Just let it go just a little bit longer. Now see, if you were really hungry and you came home, wouldn't that be ideal? I mean, you could always get the bread out of the freezer, or the wherever you keep your bread. We keep our bread in the freezer because we can't eat a whole loaf real fast, and it's a temptation. And we do love our bread. So anyway, let me go cook just a teensy bit longer. We want to make sure that's done. And this did not go on through for some reason, so I can't see who's there. So, hi, I'm so glad you're here. And again, this is called Stracciatella soup, or Stracciatella Alla Romana. And it is famous, and sometimes I was reading that it's very popular at Easter time as part of the course, because it is light. If you have the other food, you don't want a really heavy meal. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put some in a bowl so you can see it. I'm going to get some pictures and the recipe up after I... Okay, and along with that, I'm going to add a little drizzle of olive oil, just a drizzle. There, turn that off. A few more. Oh, that looks so pretty. I'll have to get a picture of it. And a few now you don't have to do this if you don't like pepper flakes, but just a few sprinkles of pepper flakes. There we go. It's done. Now, hubby says, can you see that? Don't tip it over and show it to him because it's gonna fall. There. Doesn't that look good? Ah, it smells divine. So if you have any questions, as I said, I will be I better take this off. It's cooking too fast. I will be putting up the recipe on the blog. I don't have it written out. This is just a spur of the moment. We saw this the other day and I said, it's perfect. It's not a heavy meal, it's something light. And as I said, if it's a cure-all. I always felt better after I had some of that, even though I had the sniffles and the cold and congestion and whatever. So I'm pleased you joined me today. And if you have any questions about stracciatella, I'll be glad to answer them. And until next time, buon appetito, arrivederci, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for stopping. Bye-bye.